Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please hold your comments until I open the agenda items for public comment. When addressing us or the board, state your full name, both in person and on Zoom. It is suggested that you enter your full name as your ID on Zoom. Okay, minutes. I will take a motion to approve the minutes of December 2nd.
So moved. Second.
Good. All in favor?
One abstention, please.
Okay. And one absent. Appointments, recognitions, and resignations. Confirm appointment of Kelly Herrick as deputy clerk. Effective December 30th, 2024, at the 6-month probationary rate of $27.74 per hour.
Sadly, that appointment shall not come to pass because Ms. Herrick has found another position and is withdrawn.
Move item A be tabled.
Okay. Confirm appointment of Claire Wolfick as registrar of voters effective January 1, 2025 to December 31, 2026.
Move confirmation. Second.
All in favor? Request appointment of Howard Lawrence to the Comprehensive Planning Committee.
Move appointment. Second.
All in favor? Request appointment of Mike Olson to the Comprehensive Planning Committee.
Appointment. Second.
All in favor? Good. How close to being full are we on that? Any idea?
We're getting there.
We're getting there? Good.
I think right now we're over 10, there's 10 right now, plus those two. Okay. I think right now we're just evaluating the location, just to try to make sure we get a good representation all over town, so we could do, you know, up to 5 more, but I think that's starting to get kind of
Good. Excellent. Consent agenda, closure of administrative offices at 3 o'clock on December 20th for Deputy Clerk Jennifer Buchanan's farewell community event.
Full acceptance of the consent agenda as presented. Second.
All in favor? Okay, any select board reports? No. Right. Unfinished business, comprehensive plan update from Noel Musson.
Great. Hello, everyone. Actually, I made some handouts just to go through stuff. I'm sorry they didn't get them to you in advance. And Wendy, I will email you this thing. Well, thank you, everybody. It's great to be here. My name is Noel Munson, as hopefully everybody knows by now. We're here to talk, basically just to give the board an update on where we are with the comprehensive plan update process. For tonight, we'd like to go through a quick refresher on what a comprehensive plan is. Review the work that we've done so far, discuss some timelines, talk about the outreach plan, and then have any discussion that the board might want to have. Sound good?
Yeah, it's good.
Great. All right. Well, as I said, hopefully everybody knows who I am, but we do have other consultants working on the project through the Musson Group, and I'm joined here tonight by one of them, Suzanne Paul. Some of you might know Suzanne from work we've already done in the town and through some of the other committees, and Suzanne's had a lot of experience with planning and community development work. And we're all lucky to have her, particularly me. So I'm glad and grateful that she's here to join in this project. She's actually worked on plans in Belfast and Rockland, and one we did in Swans Island. So quite a bit of comprehensive experience. We also have another person on the team who you might be hearing from, particularly department heads as we go through finishing up inventories sections. Her name is Courtney. So Courtney's another great planner that we have on staff, really focusing in on resiliency and climate stuff. So I just wanted to give you the update there. So again, we're super excited to be starting the comp plan process, although we've actually been working on parts of it for a while. And we think it's a great time to have this conversation in the town of Mount Desert. You know, particularly having gone through some of the issues that we went through with short-term rentals and some land use, and Luso discussions we've been having over the past couple of years. And the community, meetings that we had 2 years ago now. It seems like a really good time, and that the community is really ready to have these kinds of conversations. So it's a great option for, I would like to say it's an opportunity for kind of celebrate some of the things that are really important to the community, but it's also a good time to have the hard conversations with the community about where do you want to go in the future? What are the issues that we really need to tackle? And so it's a shared vision of the future. It's providing a tool to help you guys as this town define your goals. I like to think about it like a roadmap. So how do you think about where you want to be, and then how do you want to get there? There's a lot of different topic areas in the comprehensive plan, required by the state through the Growth Management Act, including population, economy, housing, public facilities and services, recreation, natural and marine resources. So we're gonna be tackling a lot of those through this process, and this is an update that we're going through. So there will be some sections of the comp plan that we're really probably gonna take a lighter touch to. And then there'll be some sections that we're gonna probably dive into a little bit more, because the committee will give us some direction on how we wanna focus our time. So I would anticipate, you know, a handful of those topics, maybe more of a rewrite than an update. But we are approaching this like an update, which hopefully will save some time. The old plan, the existing plan was adopted in 2009. So since we've started, just to give you a little sense of what's happened so far, we've been working on the inventory and analysis updates, part of the comprehensive plan. We're mostly done with that, and I anticipate that we'll be sharing that with the committee toward the end of this year, so in a couple of weeks, and starting a process of reviewing those sections with the comprehensive plan committee in January and into February. And the way that we're approaching this project, for those sections is, we're gonna try not to spend months and months just reviewing data. We're gonna try to get the data sections all at once, or in probably big batches, and we're gonna have conversations about key findings from the data. And then we can move into the engagement and the outreach and the talking about goals and strategies part of the comprehensive plan. Rather than what sometimes happens in our experience is you spend a long time just talking about data, more data. How do we analyze this data different? We're gonna try to not do that. We've also have a website updated already, so we've created a dedicated website for the comprehensive plan, which on the next page or two, there is a copy of the website. We'll get to that in just a second. We've also created an initial engagement outline that we're starting to work with the comp plan committee with to try to figure out who do we want to reach out to, how do we want to do this, what are some of our target key partners, key individuals, key organizations that we need to reach out to. And I think our big focus is on this plan is really going to be that engagement part. And then we've had our first committee organizational meeting. It really was just Susan and me going to the committee and talking to them about like, when do we want to start meeting once a month? When are we going to do that? How do we want to run this meeting? You should really be talking about getting a chair. And who's taking notes, that kind of stuff. So a lot of work already happened, and there's a lot more to go. So the product that you're going to be looking at is a similar, it'll be a different product than the one that we currently have in town. Trying to use better graphics, more infographics, a little more readable, with the goal of trying to make this a useful document so that you guys are making policy decisions or department heads are talking about some stuff that they need to do moving forward. It can be a useful tool for all of that. And our approach is really to try to keep it simple, but also make this process as accessible to people as possible. So feel free to jump in about skimming over anything. So we have a website which is gonna live, it's sort of an independent website, but it is housed on the town's website. So if you go to the comp plan committee, tab on the town's website, you can click on this website. And the goal here is to really have a one-stop shop for everything comp plan related. So who's on the committee, we created an independent email address that's like complan@town.deserve.org that we can use to get information sent to us. We can post updates to drafts, we can post agendas, we can do all kinds of different things on the website. So it's a really good tool and we're looking forward to using it. So some of the immediate next steps though are in January or probably toward the end of January, we're gonna be launching the community survey, which I'll talk about in just a minute. We're gonna be establishing a meeting schedule more regularly, and Claire, I did get your email today, I just haven't had a chance to respond, so probably gonna be on Thursdays, but haven't figured that out yet. We're gonna be meeting with town staff to review some of the data that we've already collected and get more information, so we're gonna be talking to you, Darlene, and other people about, public facilities and all the different things that we need to add to make sure we get the right information. And we're gonna be starting the community engagement process probably sometime in January, but then later in the spring. So with the community survey, what you're gonna find is it's a really, the goal of the community survey is just to try to get the temperature of the community. It's a high level type survey questions, what do you find, where's your favorite places in the town, how do you gather, and a bunch of different questions that we're actually we're finding with the comp plan committee right now. How has the town changed? What kinds of things that we can get? So it's that first step for us to really try to get a sense of what's happening in town. So look for that. Probably will be there'll be a digital version because it's in Google Sheets, or Google, not Sheets, but it's in Google Forms right now. And then we're gonna working with we'll have paper copies available in different areas, and then we'll have to figure out how we're going to collect those and calculate the paper versions. So we also have estimated time frame for the comp plan, and I provided that as a high level overview. We kind of looked out about a year at this point. It's a fairly aggressive time frame, hoping to try to finish the product by the time that we can get to 2026 town meeting for adoption. That being said, there's going to be plenty of opportunities for us to kind of check in on the timeline to see how we're doing, but we really wanted to kind of set an aggressive goal because this is an update, not necessarily a full rewrite. But I will say it's important not to shortchange, particularly the last sort of third of the comp plan, which is where we typically start talking about implementation. How are we going to use this tool? So at some point, we're going to want to check in and say, is it realistic to meet the 2026 timeframe? Given the when you back it out, it has to be ready by February, which is right around the corner a year from now. So it's a lot, but I think we can do it. We're going to try. Some big things coming up though in the winter. We're going to be, as I said, outreach, engagement. We're going to be talking about in the spring and summer. We'll try to be moving into sort of vision and values type discussions. Having a workshop with a community-wide workshop in that time frame, and then moving into the fall of next year, really talking about future land use planning and drafting action statements and those kinds of things. And then fall, winter would be where we start to talk about implementation and trying to finish the document so that we can get it to state for their review. And they'll need to review it, and we'll want to approve that. We'll want to get a state approval before it goes to town meeting. Otherwise, we have to go back to town meeting, get whatever edits the state might have. We approve it. That's it. So I'm happy to answer questions. I think this is a really exciting opportunity. We're going to try to generate as much buzz around it as we can. Hopefully, I really think the comprehensive plan is an important tool for the town, and it can be a really positive experience.
This is very helpful.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
good.
Right?
Glad that you've got so many people already.
Yeah, no, it's a great committee. I think we're trying to, so we've got 10 people now with the 2 appointments tonight. And I think those are 2 good voices that we needed on the committee. And I think what we ought to do now is just take a step back and see, are we well represented? And who do we need to recruit from areas that might not be represented? But it's gonna be great. Yeah.
You were gonna email one to Wendy, can you email Martha also?
Yep, I'll email Martha too, yeah.
Perfect.
Great.
Very good. Thanks, Noel. Thanks, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Okay. New business, request authorization to release the expenditure of funds for the purchase of 8 portable radios and accessories and programming of these radios for the Mount Desert Police Department not to exceed $17,500 from PD Capital Reserve Account 4040100-24405 with an unencumbered balance of $223,910.75.
I would move authorization.
Second.
Can we ask, was the reason that the quote was so different because the barber part of it is the.
Yeah, so I'm trying to have them split it out and
Yeah.
it's gonna increase the price for everybody, so rather than to split it out of including 17 and 8 radios here. It was gonna jack the price for both Bar Harbor and Mount Desert. So they were able to give us a better price on the radios to buy 25 of them in the same place.
But the amount were the 17.5 that were authorized.
Oh,
is what?
sorry, that does not include the programming on that quote.
Okay,
So the total amount for the radio purchase with the dual charger or the multi-charger and all the accessories is $16,032.91. So I put in just like $150 for programming.
that's good. Just wanted to clarify that. That's all.
Sure.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Consider accepting an unconditional monetary gift of $500 from Christopher Campbell to the Mount Desert Fire Department.
Move acceptance.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Request for waiver to rural wastewater rebate policy on select delinquent taxes that were out of our taxpayers' control.
I thought that sounded like a perfectly reasonable request to, if in fact it's been verified that they had done everything they were supposed to do to get that payment sent to us and somehow it got glitched up in the bank. That seems like a perfectly valid excuse.
They actually, 2 out of the 3 arrived today.
Okay.
From the post office. And these were mailed out in October.
Yeah.
So, and then we have one that has been, trying to work with their mortgage company, supposed to have paid and paid the incorrect amount.
Okay,
Okay.
do we have to have a motion for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would move that we allow that waiver.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Great. Discuss the new Maine paid family and medical leave program and decide percentage of employee
Withholdings.
holdings.
This has been a topic of discussion
It has been.
at more than, well, this meeting. I know the state was kind of late in getting this launched. My personal position would be that handing what amounts to a tax to workers at the beginning of the year would be inappropriate. I know that the school didn't budget to pay the extra and the town didn't budget to pay the extra, but neither did the wage workers.
Yeah.
I would be in favor of having them pay 0.
Yep.
Personally.
I could second that.
Well, then I'll make a motion. We don't have to discuss it long. I would make a motion that until such time as it can be agreed upon with a bargaining session, that employees have no funds withheld to pay for that Maine Family Medical Leave Act.
Second,
Any further discussion? All in favor? Discuss options regarding the town's automatic foreclosure process.
So this was just, on your radar that for the, fiscal year 2023 real estate taxes, we actually had to follow through with an automatic foreclosure due to a property owner not responding to the, within the statutory timeline. So there are quite a few, options that can be, chosen. The thing is that, well, there is no immediate need to make any decision as of this moment, but the town does own this property now.
Mhm.
And I believe that the process, so the options are to either to sell or just maintain the property, hold on to it. And in order to sell the property, whether that's back to the original owner for the back taxes or anything else, those need to be decided at the town meeting, from what I can tell, based on MMA, lien, and foreclosure processes. We are a town meeting municipality, but also we have a town charter, and the town charter does lay out that the town meeting is the legislative body for the sale of the town's real estate. That doesn't exactly say tax acquired property. So that's something I believe that we have to discuss at the town meeting in May for the process that we want to follow for whatever needs to be done with this property.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You referred to the statutory time period. Is that 18 months?
Yes, it's 18 months from the what's the word, the commitment, thank you. Commitment, and so then we did the lien process, I believe they carried that out, followed within the timeframes and the laws within there, and then there was the foreclosure process which occurred. We did a 45-day notice. We had received a certificate of the certificate mail.
Yeah.
Certified mail,
Certified mail.
sorry, certified mail, that the notice was received. And so the automatic foreclosure had to go through.
So in that period, there was no response from the person being foreclosed upon.
Correct, besides
Good.
the note that they had received the foreclosure notice.
And they've been receiving dunning
Yes,
notices all along.
yes,
Yeah.
and we have,
The proper notices as far as like the lien notice, the 30-day
Yeah.
notice, the lien.
and we have certificates of receipt for those ones as well.
I believe the only thing we have to bring to town meeting is if we sell it.
Correct.
We don't have to talk about process or anything.
Okay,
And I personally think we should hold on to it.
you think, okay, and then so that was the purpose of this.
Yes.
Putting this on, is just,
Yep.
okay. Doesn't mean that the town's liable for,
Yeah, but it gives us the flexibility to deal with it in a humane fashion if they do surface.
Yeah.
absolutely, this
Okay.
means that, and that's one of the options, is to be able to try and go contact them even further.
Or
And we've had
workforce
many,
housing.
we've had many discussions about the town acquiring property.
I have, and here,
Affordable housing.
That law changed a few years ago. We can't just keep it. We have to decide whether to redeem it back to the owner or to sell it on the market for the back taxes and then give the surplus back to the previous owner. We can't just keep that property as tax acquired in perpetuity,
no,
just so you know.
okay, so we only get the taxes out of it.
That's right.
Well, that's not.
And some fees, but
All right,
we
okay.
can't
Wow.
keep that as.
Well, I think
Okay, well, there we
that
go.
we hang on to it for as long as we can.
That parade was supposed to be
And
rained
do our
on.
best job to find out what's going on.
And try to contact the
Yeah.
owner again.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we can discuss that.
good.
Thank you.
Do I have a vote? I mean, a
It was a
motion.
good discussion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shoot.
Just to discuss options.
I think we have discussed the options. We received some valuable input from Mr. Avila. So perhaps we could put it on our agenda for a future meeting to discuss in the near term what our plans might be to do with that, and what town meeting would we bring this to? And I so move. Wow, that worked out well.
Second, whatever he said.
Whatever he said. All in favor?
You get all that, Heidi?
Yeah.
Sounded like a
Okay.
can going down the road.
Right. Does that work for you, May?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, consider budgetary carry forwards of unexpended amounts from fiscal year 2024 to the fiscal year 2025, as described in memo from Finance Director May Weiler. So why hasn't the money been spent for the skating rink yet?
So the specific, that 500,000 was specifically for the improvements. And I believe that those are, getting underway.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Motion,
I have a question.
Yes.
First,
go ahead.
and it has to do with the last year's budget we set aside and it was approved at town meeting for $112,000 for an assistant code enforcement officer. Since that, we didn't hire that position and that money ostensibly has not been spent, does that qualify as a carryover?
No, that would roll over into fund balance at the end of the year, unless it was requested that we were to carry forward, but.
Because we still are gonna be looking, aren't we, Darryl?
Yeah, we budgeted, so that last year's got rolled back in.
That was my question. I'm
Yeah,
not
and we
sure
can use
how
that.
that actually
So it
works.
just rolls back into fund balance, so unexpended funds.
Okay, good.
So we'll be available hopefully for some reduction of property taxes.
Yep.
Over the others that rolls back, so,
Or if we hire somebody.
yeah. We've rebudgeted the position. again,
Okay.
so.
Thanks.
Okay, and I have nothing to add with regard to the rest of them.
I would move that we accept the carry forwards of unexpended amounts from fiscal 2024 to be accepted.
Second,
Good. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Authorized transfer of $4,000 from the town's operating account to the town's. Oh, 4 million. Oh, yeah. Okay, from the town's operating account to the town's insured cash sweep reserve account to increase interest earnings, and authorize Finance Director Weiler to conduct transfers back to the operating account to ensure adequate cash flow throughout the year.
Move authorization.
second,
Good. All in favor? Okey-doke.
Thank you.
Review of general government and debt budgets FY 2026 includes MOU requests.
Maybe copies. Some extra budgets there. When I also wrote a memo on it, and this is the corrected memo with the right number, the totals were right on the other, but the ones above were not.
Well, I might as well take one as long as the.
And I'll do an overview for each of the
All right.
departmental budgets as they come forward. Do public safety next.
okay. I'm sorry,
Oh, that's all.
I could have done
No worries.
Okay, so remind me, typically, do we vote on this?
No, these are just for you to look at.
that.
Okay,
Ask questions if they come up and.
so we're gonna review that, the spreadsheets that you sent us. Good, okay. So yeah, Martha's not here, so she needs to be here too.
They say the overall is 3.1. Interestingly enough, I just entered the data for public safety. This time, and it's 2.2. And I expect public works to be somewhere around the same amount. None of this includes the CIP drop too, so when you factor that in, I think budgetarily, we're gonna be in very good shape. Municipally this year. Probably somewhere under 3, maybe 3, it depends on the debt. Where's gonna be the debt? I know the CIP is down quite a bit, but the debt is up over.
13.4%.
still should more than factor out. I think.
That's holding pretty standard with what we've seen over the last several years, which is great,
Mhm.
given the state of the economy in the last 4,
Right.
different things skyrocketing and.
But we
So
were,
that's
I
good.
think we were fortunate, the department heads did a really good job, I think, going through their budgets and trying to be as prudent as they could on their operating budgets, looking at areas that were traditionally underspent and perhaps doing some adjustments there. And I think we were very, very fortunate in that we were able to do first the public works union contract, to do that adjustment and to do a similar thing this year, because we've been operating for a number of years when they were getting anywhere from 1 to 3% with 8% inflation, so we're catching up, but not paying a big penalty by having to put a big budget jump in to do that. So I think that's the good news. We've reaped the benefits of the lower expenses over the last 3 years, and
Yeah.
we're able to make up the difference without having a big bump. So I'm very pleased with what I've seen come out of the departments this year. Brian and I went over his, and I don't think his will be a whole lot different from what we've seen from the others, so.
Mhm.
And the request things, documents that were submitted from various agencies were
Yeah.
simply because we haven't developed a new form.
Right, we're still using that, but hopefully this year will be on the radar to actually come up with a better one, but this gives you all the data you need.
Right,
And I did make copies of the neighborhood house one that did not get included in there, but her request is the same as it's been for the last, I don't know, 10 years or
Yeah.
whatever.
So
So there's a change.
I think I missed this part. So the libraries that came in,
Yes,
they came in and that is their request to be considered for an
Yeah.
MOU.
Yeah.
So we haven't touched them yet.
no. They're under MOU agreements, they won't be coming for third parties,
right.
they'll be.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They'll
is-
be reviewed under contract.
Okay, so we've already decided to
Yeah.
put them under as an MOU.
Yes.
Library,
Yeah, they're in the budget.
okay, and
No, they asked for 5,000 more than they did in years past, though, didn't they, too?
The library did, Northeast, I think.
And that's what we discussed in our budget discussion.
yeah. Yeah, so, yeah. It's just the same oversight, just different people.
Yeah.
And then the warrant committee also gets an opportunity to discuss that with them as well, when they do their budget reviews in January.
Yep.
Yeah,
So they undergo the same scrutiny, or perhaps a little bit more than what they would have. Excuse me.
yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, this just begs the question is. If the libraries are gonna do it, then village improvement societies. Should be considered as well, but. It's a slippery slope.
Well, I mean, and I don't know how much we consider the level of private donations and the level of endowment. I mean, those are all, to me, worth considering.
Yeah,
I mean, anyway.
I would move the review. If there's no further discussion.
mhm.
Second.
Anybody have anything to say? Okay, all in favor? See. Discussion of location for the 2025 annual town open floor meeting.
Last year, you went back to the elementary school because we had the short-term rental ordinance, which we knew would draw a crowd bigger than really what the neighborhood house could comfortably accommodate. And so now you have a question of whether you want to stay with the elementary school or whether you want to go back to the neighborhood house, or do you have another location? So totally up to you where you decide to go, obviously.
I mean,
I like the neighborhood house, but
I like it also, but I think that I mean, if we have hopes of people, of further engagement. I mean, we did get a crowd last year, but it was for the most part representative of the opposition. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe eventually we'll get people that are the quiet majority will come out and actually vote, but we'll see. I don't know. I like having it in a place that can accommodate regardless of how many people come out. We don't know what kind of changes in what, you know, in the hot topics are gonna happen between now and then. I don't know. How many people does the neighborhood house accommodate?
Oh, Anne Marie, you're on there, weren't you? Anne Marie, can you tell me what we could accommodate for a town meeting?
Yeah, so we can actually accommodate probably about 200. And I'll just put in a shameless, selfish plug. It's so much easier for us to offer dinner if it's at Neighborhood House. And I think last year's crowd was certainly the weekly rental sort of hot button issue. And I think it looks, well, for me, you know, now it's going to be my 28th annual meeting. We all remember the days of a packed gymnasium. And that's just not the case anymore. I mean, we're lucky to have a quorum by the end of it of 50. So I personally like the neighborhood house just because it feels more full. It's everybody's second home in town. It's comfortable. It's easier for us, as I said, to offer the complimentary dinner. Unless you had a hot button issue, personally, I'm happy to host.
your gut tell you, Darrell?
What's that?
What's your gut tell you?
My gut tells me you could probably accommodate it at the neighborhood house.
I like it.
I agree. I think, like, unless there's some major reason why we need to go to the elementary school, I think the quaint feeling of the neighborhood house seems like a great choice.
You want to vote?
Yeah.
Put it this way, I've marked it down as
Okay.
in pencil. If things
So I-
change between now and the annual meeting, we're not signing a contract.
I
in
know, it's not
blood.
I know, it's not a life or death thing. Okay.
No.
Do I have a
It's
motion?
reserved. You can
Will the
decide.
annual town meeting be held at Neighborhood House for
Okay.
2025?
Second,
All in favor? Okay.
all right.
Now, we can expect a really good meal now, Anne Marie.
Yes.
Filet and lobster tails.
There we go. Then we'll get to 300 people.
Then we'll have to change the menu.
Then we'll have to move it back to the gymnasium. Perhaps Spam on a shingle will drive them out.
All right. Now, public comment. Is there any public comment? Because we're in our public comment window. Yes,
That you really do start the meeting at 6:30 rather than 6:25 or 6, because the last 3 meetings I've been at, you started 4 minutes early and people come in after the meeting has started. It's posted at 6:30, should start at 6:30.
okay. Okey doke. Anyone else? Any other business?
I just have one thing to add. So I wasn't able to get this spreadsheet that I had up on the Zoom into the packet, but I just wanted to, this is about the Maine paid family leave. I just wanted to just let you know that I did an analysis based on last year's payroll from all payment types. So, you know, whether it's part-time, if it's overtime, everything was paid. And so for the remainder of this fiscal year, so the next 6 months, we are the town with the 1% premium would be paying $23,311. And so the total amount that if we had done for the entirety of fiscal year 25, we'd be paying $46,623. Just for the 1% of people's wages, just want to let you know.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I forgot to mention, traditionally, we've been allowed to close at noontime on Christmas Eve, so I forgot to make that. That be a consideration.
Can we put that under other business?
Yes.
Okay, why don't we do that? Do I have a motion?
I'll move that the town office be closed at noon on Christmas Eve.
Second,
All in favor?
Question,
Mhm.
since it is a traditional thing and we always end up putting it on the agenda, would it make sense to add it to the calendar for the holiday calendar and just include it ongoing?
Or like an MOU?
well, you could accept them when Christmas occurs on a Sunday. You're not gonna close at noontime on Saturday.
No,
Oh, good. Since we're already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a burden. Yes, go ahead, Wendy.
Does that also include like the town garage and the other town employees would get out at noon that day as well?
If they can, I mean, some of them are on duty, like
Right.
firing and stuff like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Brian.
So the days aren't coincident amongst staff, so. Setting a time of noon means differential benefit to different employees. So if you're starting at 6 o'clock in the morning and you get out at noon, you get 2.5 hours. Or you get 3.5, you're at the town garage versus 4.5. If you're here in town, the town office. So if it could be amended to be a set number of hours as benefit, that would be beneficial for those that have different hours.
Yeah, it's probably fair.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So I guess I hadn't really considered the number of people, but when we closed the town office early, the people that work in the town office get paid for their full day regardless.
And there's typically only 2, maybe 3 people in the town office on
Right.
Christmas. We put that out.
I think everyone should come up with a plan.
Yeah, that sounds, because it sounds like we're setting ourselves up for.
Also apply to New Year's Eve.
No,
never
because that's
had
not
New
on
Year's
Christmas
Eve.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess actually, maybe. Well, the motion was to close the town office at
Yeah.
noon.
Yeah.
On Christmas Eve, and from the motion and the intention of my motion of that we're doing that was to allow for people to understand that services would not be available. I wasn't really considering the differential benefit to the to employees. And that would be probably a bigger discussion in the long haul. But anyway,
Yeah. So we already voted.
on the town office
Yeah.
closing. We did.
Well, why don't we just do it this way? We'll go forward with that because that's what we've done. And we'll look into some sort of equitable.
Yeah.
Whatever. Because that's a good point, Brian. Anything else? Any other business? Okay, treasurer's warrants. Approval and signature, town invoice AP 2540 in the amount of $1,699,949.45.
Move approval and signature.
Second.
All in favor? Approval and signature, state fees and payroll benefits, AP 2538, AP 2539, and town payroll PR 2512 in the amount of $215,303.14.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
One abstention, please.
Acknowledgements, school invoice AP 06, school payroll PR 12, and no voided disbursements for a grand total of $129,408.34.
Move acknowledgement.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you. We'll take a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Great.
Doesn't close, not bad.
Not bad.